This was more of a random one. I thought Jesse was going to come on, but he didn't. And somebody was there listening in, and I was wondering if that was you.
I saw you for a little bit, yeah. Okay, what time was that again?
Okay.
What time was that?
Oh, around 8 o'clock or so. Anyway, I have the broadcast open already, so.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thanks. All right. Bye. Yeah. Good morning. This is John Harder. Sorry about that. Just ending up finishing up a phone call there. And so this is John Harder with broadcast number 154, and I'm hoping that it's going to work with for Jacob to come on with me. And so hopefully we can do some discussion. And what I'm going to do is right off the bat, I'm going to say this, that when I came across the TBC coin, that now for me it was different. It wasn't that somebody introduced me to it and tried to convince me or anything like that. I was looking for a coin in the coin exchange. And now for those, if somebody comes across this video and heard me mention exchange, don't get all excited about that. And oh, TBC is not no, don't worry about that. I mentioned it because I was digging around in an exchange with other coins, looking for a nice coin to invest, because at the time I had sold my Dash, which was a huge mistake, but I had sold my Dash, and now I had some money sitting in Bitcoin, looking for other coins to put it into, and so in that process I came across the TBC, and I could make a story of that in itself probably, but I'm not going to today. So I came across this coin. Oh, thank you very much, Susan, for tuning in. Ishrak also, thank you very much for coming on board or for tuning in. You're welcome to come on board to ask some questions or just so we can dialogue. That'd be fine too. You can do that anytime. That's fine. But I came across that coin, and as I checked it out, and to learn more about it, I watched the video, like the presentation. I read some of the information, like the mission statement, things like that, and I was convinced that this was definitely a coin that I had to be, a part of. And so I did. What I ended up doing is I signed up, and so I contacted my friend Pedro, and he had signed up as well. He didn't sign up under me. I'm not sure how that happened, but he didn't, and doesn't matter. But so I went ahead and I bought some coin. I bought about at the time about $1,500 worth is what I spent into. Now I think that was with I was buying some for my wife and for Tanya, my daughter, as well. I think altogether I spent $1,500, or was it was that just for my own, and then spent some for them. I forget those details. Maybe Marjorie knows. But by the way, I think I saw her face. I think I saw her here. Oh, yes, there you are, Marjorie. Thank you for moderating for me again this morning. You're welcome back anytime. I miss you guys. Okay, so I bought some coin. I just knew that I really wanted to have some because what opened up for me was I saw the idea, and my mind opened up to the idea that this is something that will open up possibilities to help humanity in ways that I otherwise would have never even thought possible. Because having, you know, billions of dollars, and I'll say here right now that I'm really very glad that the you know, that God, or whatever you want to name that power, that is at work right now, that is taking down the deep state. It is taking down and dismantling all of this tyranny and this manipulation, and all of that is being dismantled as we speak. Now that makes me I'm very grateful for that, because if that weren't the case, we would be attacked. We would be seriously be attacked, and I'm not sure where we'd come out eventually if you know, if they were left in power. But now that is all being dismantled, it opens up so much possibility for humanity, for us to bring humanity, sorry, to bring the coin to people, and ultimately be able to help humanity in ways and actually fulfill the mission of TBC. So that is the possibility that I saw after I, of course, read that mission statement and watched the video, the full presentation, which is actually now available on in the Kringle.cashback office. Okay, so that's where I was. I mean, that's how I saw it. And this is so very big. There is so much that we can do with the TheBillionCoin and helping people. But our first, you know, what we need to be able to do now is to help other people see it. It seems like, you know, you talk with people and you can't get them to see beyond their immediate problems. Good morning, Jacob. Did the link not work for you? They cannot see beyond their immediate problems and need right now to have money right now. And if you tell them, look, when you begin in TBC, you can literally start making money the same day. That seems like it's not good enough. You need to hand them a bag of money right now so that they can run off and spend it. Seriously, is that as far as we can see? Can we not get beyond that? Isn't it possible to see the what TBC was actually made for, and how much we can do with TBC? And this is just a how do we help people see that? How can we help them free up their mind enough to be able to see, what, it's more than just having a little bit more money right now. It's more than that. It's if, because the one guy that I talked to, he says, well, how long is this gonna take, to well, maybe 2 years, maybe, whatever. Well, that's too long. That's too long. Why can't I use the money right now? Well, there's an easy answer to that. It's very simple. It's because the banks, the central banking system that have been controlling the world for all these centuries, they have the system set up in a way that it's not, it makes us have to improvise. And because we have to improvise in order to make this work, it seems like humanity just does not see that. They think that, well, if it's not working right now, then what good is it? So, it takes me back to some of the scriptures where the Bible teaches us, about salvation and so on. It takes, it's, we need to be able to see. We need to be able to exercise faith. We need to be able to exercise belief. Believing, because the reality is what we believe comes true. Okay. All right. So so what I want to do is again, I want to talk about the cash flow system that TBC has created. Has in I mean, seriously, very, very good ideas that have been put in place for us to use. And Facebook has so many people. There are so many leads that are available to us to work with, right? And the system is available. The information is available. The how-to is available. If we don't, if we need some training, which almost all of us do, well, there's the cash flow training, cash flow coaching is available. There's a few of them that are now teaching it. I believe Lawrence is, Dan Lutz is, Randy Wilson is. There are also others that are setting up to do that. I'm one of them that is setting up to do that. But I wanted to, I didn't want to teach it until I have actually gone through the course myself, so that that I am that I have all the tools, and I'm very, equipped with confidence and the knowledge that I need to teach it effectively. Because, well, let's put it this way, though. The money that is being charged for this course is so extremely little. But that doesn't justify not, how should I say, that doesn't justify teaching without the qualifications. Even though it isn't a lot of money, it doesn't mean that we want to start teaching without really, having the full capability to do that effectively. It's easy to just talk about it, but to actually give people the full understanding of what it takes is a different story. Now, there's other success training also that is very, very far beyond what the cash flow coaching teaches. Okay, and that is also going to be available later. I don't know if there are others that are going to be teaching those kind of success training, but I will be. And I know that that type of training is available in other places as well, but it's going to be very expensive. It's kind of like you get what you pay for. That's really basically what it boils down to. If you pay $10 for a week, yes, I admit the information. The information that you get is worth a lot more than that. But if you pay for a $10,000 for a 6 months coaching course that almost forces you to knock it right out of the park, that's a different story. That's a very different training. It puts you on thin ice. It's really what that does. It makes you pull rabbits out of your hat that you didn't know were there. That's what that kind of training does. And the first thing that I can see that hits people's mind is the little prince comes out and says, $10,000? What if you lose that? What if you just lose that 10,000 and don't even make it back? Well, here's how it works. You pay the 10,000 and you either really, really kick ass or you lose your $10,000. That's how that works. Like I said, it puts you on thin ice and you better skate fast or the ice is going to cut through. Now, anyhow, that's a whole another category. It is a category for someone who says I'm going to take leaps that set goals that are so high that I can't remain the same person and achieve them. And isn't that what it's really about? Isn't it more about the change? Isn't it more about the person that we become than just making more money? If you make more money and it doesn't change you, you haven't gained anything. it's kind of like Jim Rohn. Like Jim Rohn, he would say that if you all of a sudden win a lottery, you better get rich fast or you're going to lose your money. That's basically how it works, and we've seen this over and over. People, people can win, actually, sometimes $5 or $10 million. It almost doesn't matter how much. It takes the average person about 5 years to be broke again, but from winning a lottery. Why? Because they didn't get rich. They just had a pile of money. They weren't rich. They just had a pile of money. That's all it was. So, being rich is not, it's not about the money. You probably hear people say that it's not about the money. And, well, we think, well, if a person makes a lot of money and it's not about the money, okay, well, then, well, it's obviously all about the money. Well, that's where we have a misunderstanding, because if it's all about the money, we're missing the point. We're missing the point. It's what it's about is who we become in the process. This is why when we set goals, we set them so high that we can't remain the same person. When we achieve it, we can't remain the same person that set the goal. We have to be a different person. We have to become a different person in order to reach that. Anyhow, there we go. I've talked about that a lot now. So again, back to the system that has been handed down to us from admin. They have set out the strategy, and the points are there. The 23. We could say 23 steps. Okay, so those 23 steps are there, and the way the system is laid out, there are in a couple of areas there where we can likely do probably 3 or 4 steps in one day, but then a couple of those steps, they are literally 24 hours apart. You have to kind of, that doesn't mean you can't already start some other things that are further down, which when I do another broadcast where I haven't talked quite so long about becoming successful or whatever, I'll go through those points a little bit more in detail, which right now I think I have kind of overstepped the amount of time already. But my point is this, that when you set up your channel for broadcasting, well, that takes 24 hours basically to get your to get confirmed. So there you have to kind of wait a day for that. But in the meantime, of course, you can already you could already start giving gifs on Facebook. And if your Facebook wall is plastered full of former promotions and TBC, how good TBC is and all of that kind of stuff from before, then it's a good idea to go in and literally clean all that up, because that's not, it's a misrepresentation of what TBC is. So we have it needs to, the Facebook wall, in order to be effective, it needs to have, it needs to have the image that you understand what you're talking about, and not just, oh, hey, come here, look at how good TBC is. That's not effective. Matter of fact, it's more of a detriment than an asset. All right. So those are just some of the things, but so these steps, when we follow them, you kind of automatically begin to create cash flow. And where the course really, really helps you, how should we say, get a hole in one, if you're familiar with golfing, is how you can tune yourself in, you know, so that your vibrations show the right, you know, bring the right feelings to people. That's what a lot of what you learn, you know, how to present yourself, how to approach, how to pose yourself, you know, what kind of posture you need to have, you know, to attract people. Because if we're not using the law of attraction, then basically what we're doing is we're trying to push. It's like a magnet. If you ever played with the two magnets, when you have them one way, they are attracted to each other, but you flip one of them, it repels. They repel apart. And that's basically what happens here. It's actually exactly what happens. It's not even basic. That's exactly what happens. And count on it. The magnet that needs to be turned around, it's you. It's never, ever is it the person that you're trying to, you know, that you're trying to help see what, you know, it's never them, ever. So that's a very, very important point to know, for us to understand. We can just say, all the people, they just don't, hey, no. It's not them. It's not them. Maybe, so we could say, well, okay, but I talked to that person, you know, and they're, yeah, and they were close, but then they decided, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've got another quote from Jim Rohn is that we got to get used to the word next. Next. Never, ever be hung up about one person not wanting to, you know, not seeing it or not, you know. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Just next. The person, you know, many of the people that you've talked to and so on that didn't find the interest, they'll probably come along later. It's fine. Never push them away. Don't push them away, but don't wait for them. Don't wait for them. Just next, and on you go. It's very simple. So as long as we keep the door open, they'll come. Well, they might not, but I mean, they can come. That's what I mean. And so, so I hope that this information has been helpful to you, or at least has helped you to realize, in order to really move forward, the coming to the cash center training, taking the cash center training course is a huge help. Okay, and as I said, there's quite a few trainers that are already teaching it, and if you you know, and what I'm thinking that I will very likely do is probably also buy a course from Lawrence, or maybe Dan Lutz, just because to get perspective from different trainers can also have a huge impact on being more effective. even if they're saying the same thing. And you're probably saying right now, well, how, if they're saying the same thing, then how can, how can that be beneficial? Well, every person has their own identity, their own DNA. That DNA shows up in the way you present things. It shows up in how you perceive things. It shows up in every area of your life. And as we get different views from different people, even if they're saying the same thing, is very beneficial for us to I'll venture out to say that if I've taken Randy's course and then go ahead and buy a course from Lawrence or Dan Lutz or somebody else, that I would be picking things up there that I did not actually quite get at Randy's course. Not because they're better. That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is we pick up things that we missed. That's what I'm saying. So the very, very low cost that these courses are, I think it's a good idea to plug into more than one. But I'll leave that with you. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I thank you very much for tuning in to my broadcast this morning. Pratisha, thank you very much for coming on board, or for joining me this morning as well. Appreciate it very much. All right, so I wish you all a wonderful day, and hopefully we can get TBC to 1 billion members shortly, rapidly, rather than in a long time from now. Peace.